Got me some water. Go ahead and mute that. Ooh, spilled my water. Okay. Alright. Wait and see if anybody wants to join. Go ahead and bring this back up. Before I get into reading this, I think it'd be better to do this as a live stream. Okay. Oh, I know what I need to do. Give me just a second here. Oh, here you go. Go ahead and exit out of that. Wait and see if anybody wants to join before I get into reading. Okay, we're actually gonna raise that up. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get into this. Okay, so this was just released today. It's got the entire storyline from beginning till end, like everything we've heard, playing the games, listening to audio reels and whatnot. From start to beginning, it's got origins, mob, shadows, transit. It's got it all. It's got the entire, series. So we're gonna start from the beginning, as it says in the beginning, and it goes in a circle, and it wraps around. So this is gonna be a little hard to read because some of it's upside down. So I'm gonna do my best. So let's get into it. Okay. In the beginning, there was only the Aether and the Keepers. Among them were two beings who would later be known by many names. One would be known as Dr. Monty, the other as the Shadow Man. So, which we already knew that, which is still pretty cool. Okay. September 3rd, 5 AD. Knowing the planet has a gateway to Agartha, the Apothicans send meteors of element 115 to Earth. They believe humanity will one day use element 115 to wage war amongst themselves, opening a rift that will allow the Apothicans to escape the Dark Aether. January 15th, 1292. The Great War between humanity and the Apothicans begin. Okay, here's where I gotta turn. April 14th, 1294? I think that says 94. Yeah. Sir Pablo Marinez is saved from the clutches of Amargua by four unknown heroes. They would later become known as Primus. Which, we already knew that by listening to some of the audio reels and ciphers. Okay, December 31st, 1299. Together with the Keepers, Primus defeats the Apothicans, bringing the Great War to an end. So, that's pretty. Oh. It's got the little power with the zombie hand. I didn't notice that. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Okay. January 1st, 1300. Before the seemingly disappear from history, Primus instructs the Wolf King to begin building Der Eisendrache. So, yeah, we learned about that. September 19th, 1318. Honoring the Wolf King's dying request, his loyal servant Arthur scatters and buries his bones in the grounds of Der Eisendrache, accompanied by the King's Wolf. September 20th, 1318. Temporal rifts teleport Arthur to Resolution 1295 in 2025 Angolia. I think that says, yeah. I think it's 1295. Okay. June 30th, 1908. A meteor containing element 115 crashes near the stony Tunguska River. August 30th. What is that? 1925? That's what it looks like. 1925, Dr. Edward Richtofen joins the Illuminati. Been a while since we heard about the Illuminati in here. Okay. February 4th, 30 or 51? I think that's 31, because I don't think it'd be that big of a jump. Large deposits of element 115 are discovered near Bresten, I think that's Bresten, Germany. Dr. Ludwig Maxis, a German scientist, is sent to investigate. Now, I've been playing zombies forever, and I've watched a lot of videos over zombies. I know a lot about zombies, but there's still so much I don't know that I haven't tapped into. And that's another reason I'm kind of reading this, is because I'm also learning about the story myself. So, May 10th, 1951. Maxis forms Group 935, an international organization dedicated to the study of element 115. Maxis tells his scientists they represent the future of technological advancement and will be pioneers of human discovery. The group swears to work in secrecy from their respective governments. As Maxis says, we cannot afford to let this power fall into the wrong hands. It is really hard to read that when you start getting upside down. November 5th, 1954. Samantha Maxis is born. Her mother dies in childbirth. Ah, so sad. So sad. August 11th, 1936, Maxis invites Richtofen to join Group 935. He agrees, secretly acting on behalf of the Illuminati's interests. Nice. Okay, that one's one. April 10th, 1937. The Imperial Japanese Army discovers element 115 meteor fragments in a swamp within Japanese territory. They build the Rising Sun facility to continue research. Division 9 is created to oversee its operation. June 14th, 1957. The United States government discovers deposits of element 115 at... What is that? Does it say Groom Lake? I think that's what it says. July 2nd, 1939. Maxis and Richthofen began teleportation experiments with matter transference prototype to mild success. The subjects are teleported, but their chemical composition is altered, leaving them catatonic and changed. August 5th, 1959, using element 115, Maxis and Richthofen resurrect one of the teleported one of the teleported corpses for the first time. Initially, it obeys, but soon becomes rabid and attacks him. The test subject is euthanized. Okay, September 3rd, 1959. Richthofen begins development of the Wunderwaffe DG2. November 23rd, 1939. Maxis turns to the Reichstag for additional funding. Germany agrees to the request, expressing interest in their weapons research, the teleportation technology, and the reanimated undead subjects. December 4th, 1939. I think that's what that is. Yeah. Whoa, did it go? No, that was November. Okay. During test trial 151, Richthofen and Dr. Schwartz, I think that's Schwartz, I can't read that, successfully teleport a walnut. This is first successful test where the chemical composition of the object is maintained throughout the process. It's pretty good. December 5th, 1939. Edward's walnut delivery fails to impress Maxis, who declares it a waste of time. He reveals to Richthofen that Group 935 will soon be funded by Germany. Richthofen worries this will lead to massive defections. He and Schuster decide to continue their teleportation experience behind Maxis's back. Oh my god, this is a long one. January 4th, 1940, Richthofen and Schuster conduct their first human teleportation test. Richthofen is so confident in its success, he volunteers himself. Teleported to the moon, he encounters the MPD, the ether pyramid hidden by the apothecans. While inspecting the device, Richthofen is electrocuted and begins hearing the many voices of corruption, including that of the Shadow Man. What? I can't. Then teleports him to Shangri-La, corrupted by the dark ether. Richthofen is gradually being driven insane. An obsession to insane. I think this is insane with an obsession to find Agartha. January 5th, 1940. Richthofen is worshipped by the natives of Shangri-La. An altar is built in his name. Richthofen encounters the focusing stone for the first time. And this is getting really difficult to read. I wish I would have done this on my phone. I wonder if I still can. Okay. But then you won't be able to see it. I'm still going to put it on my phone, so give me just a second. This is the one I want. Put that here. that put that in my phone? Yes, it did. Okay. Shut up, stupid phone. Okay, where am I? I'm high. Right that one. Okay, I've got it. January 23rd, 1940. Is that where I'm at? Yes. Okay. January 23rd, I think that's 1740 after. Let me zoom in some more. I think that's 19. That still looks like a 7 now, to me. Oh well. After a near-month absence, Richthofen returns to Schuster with a plan to build Griffin Station. January 24th, 1940. Richthofen renounces his involvement with the Illuminati. When asked how he could abandon his obligation to the order, he says Teddy was a liar. March 13th, 1940. Construction of Griffin Station on the Moon begins. Frustrated with Max's alignment with Germany, other disgruntled Group 935 scientists join the cause. Okay, give me just a second, because I'm going to have to do that and this. Can that not go back anymore? Nope. I want y'all to be able to hear me clearly. Oh man, I lost my spot. Oh, yeah, it's right here. Okay. Hey, what's up, Johnny? Alright, I won't be able to move the picture, so here's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna leave it at right there. That way, it looks a little better. Okay. Now, July 13th, 1940, Maxis instructs his assistant Sophia to write a letter to the Reichstag High Command requesting additional funds, though he reports that mass production will soon be underway shortly. Der Rees lacks not only the funding, but sufficient volumes of element 115. Ooh. So now, I guess it's July. Yeah, we'll go here. Okay. August 1st, 1940. In response to Maxis's request, Germany creates 2 new facilities for Group 935. They are the Kino facility, a repurposed theater, and the asylum facility at the Wittgen Sanatorium in Berlin. August 18th, 1940. As per Germany's request, the Japanese Imperial Army hands over the Rising Sun facility to Group 935. Division 9 remains in... What? Does that say involved on site? I think so. And this is getting harder and harder to read. October 3rd, 1940. Group 935 establishes a research facility in Siberia near the Tunguska River. November 6th, 1940. Group 935 establishes a research facility in Der Eisendrache. June 24th, 1941. Nikolai Belinsky's wife is killed during the German advance into the Soviet Union. In an effort to numb the pain, Nikolai increasingly turns to vodka. What? It was June to January. Dang, we're jumping a lot. January 11th, 1942, Maxis gives Fluffy to Samantha. The dog is expecting a litter. Hashtag 940. Why? What? I was meaning 941. Yeah, it's pretty cool that they finally released it, and I had to search for it, but I got it. Okay. January 20th, 1942, Maxis tests the first file for storage on the data servant. Servant. Let's see that. Yep. January 26th, 1942, on the data servant, Maxis catalogs locations with prominent element 115 deposits. He includes information about its various applications and cites that the reanimation of dead cells is a possible side effect. January 30th, 1942, Richtofen completes the Wunderwaffe DG-2 prototype. We'll get to that. February 1st, 1942, with Griffin Station completed, Richtofen names Dr. Groff lead scientist and returns to Earth to continue the charade with Maxis. Working alongside Schuster, Groff is left to discover how to power the MPD. Okay, this is getting really hard to read because all the different paths kind of crisscross. So, February 2nd, 1942, in a speech to his staff, Groff talks optimistically about Griffin Station's establishment as a permanent base of operations. April 17th, 1942, Maxis develops the ray gun prototype at the Rising Sun facility. Porter works on developing the second generation model. Oh no. Go back. I lost my spot. Where was I? Okay. June 13th, 1942. A result of temporal rifts in 1963, Kino, Monty reaches across time and offers little nudges. One nudge is developing Group 935's element 115 fused elixirs. They create 4 medicinal beverages known colloquially as Juggernog, Quick Revive, Speed Cola, and Double Tap. June 28th, 1942, Group 935 continues development of a weapons upgrade machine. July 18th, 1942, Groff and Schuster unwittingly discover how to charge the MPD. When Schuster kills a rat near the device, its death inexplicably, I can't say that word, begins filling the tank, charging the device. They report their findings to Richtofen. July 20th, 1942, Richtofen begins sending soldiers and scientists to the moon to be sacrificed, their souls used to charge the MPD. November 5th, 1942, Takeo Masaki is dispatched by the Emperor to oversee the work of Group 935 and Division 9 at the Rising Sun facility. December 8th, 1942, Richtofen shares the Element 115 based elixir recipes with Griffin Station. They develop Mule Kick. December 9th, 1942, Nikolai's brother is killed in the Battle of Stalingrad. I didn't even know Nikolai had a brother. Whoa. December 14th, 1942, Richtofen creates the monkey bomb. December 16th, 1942, in a personal log, Maxis expresses concern over Element 115's impact on Richtofen's behavior. No longer trusting him, he wonders if it was a mistake to invite him to Group 935. December 20th, 1942. Accompanied by Sophia, Maxis is transferred to the Kino facility to focus on creating Germany's undead army. Samantha is left in Richtofen's care. January 8th, 1943. Maxis worries he and Sophia have grown too close. He considers sending her away. Oh no. I didn't get that far. Okay, that's where I was. Awesome. January 16th, 1943, Nikolai is captured by German forces during the Battle of Stalingrad. He becomes a subject in Group 935's experiments. January 27th, 1943, Maxis reports success with Subject 26, whose violent outbursts have been greatly reduced. Maxis believes this method of treatment will be 100% effective in most cases. February 2nd, 1943, the Battle of Stalingrad ends. February 10th, 1943, Maxis reports the treatment has been perfected. He believes if Subject 26 can retain the impressions longer than 26 hours, then the delivery of the zombie army can be accelerated. February 12th, 1943. I'm trying to say it differently. I don't know why. After attacking a handler, Subject 26 is killed and deemed another setback. What is that? Is that May? Yeah. May 18th, 1943. Harvey Yenna begins his work with Group 935. June 4th, 1943. Primus arrives from Dimension 63 in an effort to prevent the events that are about to unfold. They formulate a plan to stop this dimension's Richtofen. That'd be right, yeah. June 11th, 1943. Richtofen is contacted from the house by Maxis, who warns that the test subjects must never be allowed to be awakened. The havoc that could be wreaked upon the future by such simple-minded individuals would be catastrophic. June 15th, 1943. Takio reports to the Emperor that the work being done at the Rising Sun facility is unacceptable. June 19th, 1943. Primus Richtofen is teleported to the house in Agartha, reuniting him with Maxis. July 24th, 1943. On the orders of the Emperor, Takio is taken prisoner by Group 935 and Division 9. He is used as a test subject for experiments. July 14th, 1940. Fuck. That's got to be 43. I hope it is. After the setbacks with Subject 26, Maxis reports new success with the undead army. However, he maintains his belief that the undead cannot be controlled or maintained. He's right. September 2nd, this is 44. Okay. Pablo Martinez, a Mexican spy, is captured by Group 935 at Der Eisendrache. May 9th, 1945. Holy crap, we're jumping years now. In his cell, Pablo witnesses... I nearly dropped my phone. In his cell, Pablo witnesses a vision of a great war. He describes a great battle against strange demon-like creatures who were trying to devour the earth. In his vision, he sees 4 knights protect him from certain death. He makes a note that the knights wore tunics similar to those in Der Eisendrache. June 4th, 1945, Nacht der Untoten. An Allied plane malfunctions over an airfield and crashes. German army trucks transporting the undead and Element 115 between Group 935 facilities is struck in the crash. The Marines surviving the crash hold out against the undead as long as they can. June 17th, 1945, Peter McCain infiltrates Group 935 at Der Riese. June 24th, Oh my god, hold on. My phone's trying to die on me. June 24th, 1945, Graf and Schuster develop the wave gun. July 15th, 1945, Richthofen travels to the Siberian facility to do further research on live specimens. As her temporary guardian, he takes Samantha with him. Group 935 begins transferring 3 test subjects for experimentation: Nikolai, Pablo, and Takio. July 29th, 1945, while Richthofen works at the Siberian facility, Group 935 begins development of Deadshot Daiquiri. August 1st, 1945, the test subjects arrive at the Siberian facility for Richthofen's experiments. August 31st, 1945, CIA handler Cornelius Parnell confirms that Peter McCain has successfully infiltrated Group 935 and has been transferred to the asylum facility. Cornelius suspects Group 935 is losing control of their experiments and has sent in a Marine recon unit to extract McCain. Tank Dempsey is to lead the squad. September 1st, 1945, Peter is outed as a spy and captured by Group 935. September 2nd, 1945, Richthofen reports Pablo's died following a spleen removal. He also reveals he's been performing experiments on Samantha. September 2nd, 1945, I think. World War II ends. Group 935 continues their research. I gotta get a drink of water. There's so much. Here, hold on. There you go. That way you can see mostly everything. Well, hold on. I have a better idea. Oh. Let's see if that still captures. Okay, there it goes. Is it still capturing? I want to make sure it is before I... It is not. Awesome. Where do I have that at? Oh, why is it doing that? Let me fix it. Okay. God damn it. I lost my spot. Haven't read that. Yeah, I was right there. Awesome. I was kind of hoping. Hold on, I've got this. I know what I must do. We'll fix this up. And yes. Okay. So now. Awesome. Okay. Now. Wait for that to load. I really wish it would stop doing that. Awesome. And okay. Perfect. I can open it. Yeah. Alright, here we go back into it. Temper rifts, September 2nd, 1945. Temper rifts begin to affect the asylum facility, and orderly reports increasing problems with test subjects. Many in the facility have begun hearing voices coming from the walls, including the sobbing of a boy and a girl, screaming, and a man shouting for children to close their windows. Okay. September 3rd, 1945. An outbreak occurs at the asylum facility. Peter McCain escapes. September 6th, 1945. Verdict. Dempsey, John Banana, Smokey, and a fourth Marine arrive at the asylum facility to find it overrun by zombies. They fight off the horde as long as they can. Dempsey is apprehended by Group 935. September 7th, 1945. John Banana writes messages and records his last words while being eaten alive by an undead Smokey. Wow. September 10th, 1945. Richthofen reports another spy has been captured and will be brought in to replace the Mexican. The subject is Dempsey. September 15th, 1949. What? Dang. We jumped to September 1940. No, that's still 5. Okay. September 15th, 1945. Cornelius Parnell attempts to send a transmission to Peter McCain, telling him to rendezvous at the Rising Sun facility. September, is it 17th? Yes, 17th, 1945. Dempsey arrives at the Siberian facility. Why do you say Jesus Christ? September 20th, 1945. Richthofen documents the personality traits of his test subjects. Dempsey's intellect seems low, but his will is strong. Takio is still staring at the floor, muttering what sounds like some kind of proverb over and over again. Nikolai has recently begun responding to stimuli, but only after injections of a new serum made primarily from vodka. Richtofen notes that their minds have been almost entirely broken, with no memory remaining of who they once were. September 24th, 1945, Maxis returns to Doris. He orders Richtofen to do likewise so they may continue their work on the matter transference device. Man, how far am I into this? Not far enough. September 27th, 1945, Richtofen returns to Doris with Dempsey, Nikolai, Takio, and Samantha. Oh, yeah. Ah, shit. Where am I? October 1st, 1945, Maxis reports on Richtofen's findings with his live test subjects, noting that while their baseline psyche remains intact, all specific memories have been lost. October 1st, 1945. Infuriated to learn that Maxis has not been mass-producing the DG2 as he swore he would, Richtofen reveals in his plot to destroy Maxis and Samantha, vowing that he will no longer continue to work on his undead army. October 8th, 1945, Groff reports to Richtofen the MPD is nearly ready. October 12th, 1945, Groff radios Richtofen to inform him that the device has been powered up and is awaiting the conduit. Richtofen says he will proceed with Operation SHIELD and dispose of Maxis and Samantha. Okay, give me, just a second. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. Okay. October 13th, 1945. Though frustrated that the matter transference tests have been largely unsuccessful, Maxis acknowledges that the test subjects' departure from their original point of origin is undeniable. However, Richtofen's suggestion that the subjects have been transported not through space, but time itself, causes Maxis to worry if his irrationality may soon prove a liability to our endeavors. I gotta get a little more comfortable. Okay. October 13th, 1945, Maxis and Richtofen perform teleportation test trials on test subjects number 3, 4, and 5. All fail, including test 5, where Maxis uses Fluffy as test 6 fails. Fluffy, now changed, is teleported back into the chamber. Samantha sees Fluffy and runs into the teleporter. Maxis chases after her. Richtofen seals them both in the test chamber and teleports all 3 of them. October 13th, 1945. Samantha is teleported to the moon while Groff instructs to work out the MPD. Running into the MPD, she is drawn inside of it, where she becomes corrupted by the dark ether. October 13th, 1945. Maxis is teleported to the crazy place and develops the power to merge with electricity. No, Carlos, you're not late. We're barely into this. October 13th, 1945, Richtofen returns to the moon. Learning Samantha is trapped in the MPD, he orders Groff to teleport Maxis there to coax her out of the device. He also warns Groff to keep an eye out for an evil-looking dog. October 13th, 1945. Man, all this happened in one day. In an effort to free Samantha, Maxis approaches the MPD and persuades her to come out. Once she does, Maxis gives her an instruction: kill them all. Maxis kills himself and merges with the technology of Griffin Station, while Samantha unleashes the undead upon the base. Oh yeah, there is so much that we haven't even made it to hardly anything yet. This is basically just the first couple of maps. October 14th, 1945, H. Porter activates the alarm as an outbreak occurs at Darius. Before taking a cyanide capsule, he says he's all out of hope. God forgive us all. Dang, so the guy who made the ray gun Mach 2 killed himself. Dang, I didn't know that. Okay. October 14th, 1945, Richtofen returns to Darius and awakens Dempsey, Takeo, and Nikolai. With no recollection of who they are or who Richtofen is, they agree to help him. The four would become known as... what? Altunis? I think is what this says. October 18th, 1945, Peter McCain parachutes over the Rising Sun facility. He dies shortly after. October 21st, 1945, Shin Onuma. Ultimus, okay, that's what it said, Ultimus, got it. Ultimus travels to the Rising Sun facility to recover Richtofen's diary. Upon reading it, Richtofen begins to form his plan to defeat Samantha. Okay, I gotta take another drink. Okay. October 28th, 1945, Darius. Ultimus returns to Darius with his diary. Richtofen plans to use the teleporter to return to the moon and confront Samantha. Unfortunately, the Wunderwaffe DG-2 overloads the teleporter and sends them through time, causing Richtofen to drop his diary. November 5th, 1945, Group 935 is disbanded. January 19th, 1946, the United States and the Soviet Union share the resources recovered from Group 935's various research stations. Richtofen's diary is among the items recovered by the Soviet Union. January 27th, 1946, the Pentagon hires many former Group 935 scientists in an effort to replicate their work. Oh, God. January 29th, 1946, as with their U.S. counterparts, the Soviets hire many former Group 935 scientists. Among them is Harvey Yenna, who forms the Ascension Group. July 29th, 1952, the Pentagon begins experiments involving their own versions of the undead. May 12, 1955, the U.S. government transfers a number of Element 115 experiments to the Groom Lake facility. October 19th, 1955, Gersh and Yuri Savasky begin working for the Ascension Group. April 23rd, 1956, Shangri-La. Explorers Brock and Gary discover Shangri-La during an eclipse. They're unwittingly trapped in a... I can't read that. In a tire coop? I don't know. Sally sent back in time from in a time loop. Okay. Sally sent back in time from 2011 is trapped in the same loop. Ultimus arrives in Shangri-La with the help of Brock and Gary. They acquire the focusing stone. June 3rd, 1959, the Pentagon constructs their own prototype teleporter and commences experimentation. March 15th, 1962, studying Group 935's medicinal elixir research, the Ascension Group develops PhD Flopper and Stamina Up. November 11th, 1962, Gersh begins work on Project Thunder. December 12th, 1962, Gersh and Yuri begin work on the Gersh device, codenamed Project Mercury. June 15th, 1963, the Pentagon begins development on their own version of the Wunderwaffe DG-2. 935. Why are you saying 935? Oh no. Where did I lose my spot? Oh, I read that. June 15th, 1963, the Pentagon begins development on their own version of the Wunderwaffe DG-2. August 17th, 1963, the Pentagon begins development on their own version of the Winter's Howl. October 28th, 1963, Kino der Toten. From Derice, Ultimus teleports to Kino. This marks the first time Ultimus travels across space and time. Temporal rifts occur across dimensions. In light of these developments, Monty feels obligated to step in and begins to make changes in the background across time. He helps Group 935 invent perk machines. He adds chalk drawings to walls, little nudges. Ultimus locates a lunar lander and fly to the Ascension facility. So see, yeah, it's showing how Dr. Monty, kind of pushed them into what they needed to do. October 29th, 1963, Gersh informs the senior staff that Yuri has been removed from Project Mercury and has been transferred to rocket research. October 29th, 1963, Yuri begins to notice the appearance of children's toys around the facility. I wonder what that could mean. November 1st, 1963, upon reading Richtofen's diary, Yuri begins to hear Samantha's voice. Over several days, her voice will consume him, driving him to the brink of insanity. She orders him to resume work on the Gersh device. He obeys. November 4th, 1963, Gersh announces to the committee that Project Thunder is nearing completion. Gersh reveals Yuri may need to be removed from Ascension entirely, having observed his being hostile towards other scientists and frequently observed muttering to himself. November 5th, 1963, obeying Samantha's wishes, Yuri tricks Gersh into activating the Gersh device. The rift created absorbs him and allows Samantha to travel through. Yuri is also absorbed and transported to the Pentagon. Oh, are we going to learn about the Pentagon thief? Because that'd be great. November 6, 1963, Ascension. Ultimus arrives at the Soviet Cosmodrome and frees Gersh from the Casimir mechanism. Casimir, sorry. The Casimir mechanism. Richtofen recovers his diary and learns they need the Vril device from the Siberian facility for his plan. Maintaining his ethereal form, Gersh sends them into a rift to their next destination before beginning his travels across space and time. Okay, let me take another drink. Okay. November 6th, 1963, Fife. Awesome. In the Pentagon, John F. Kennedy, Richard Nixon, and Robert McNamara meet with Fidel Castro. The aftermath of the Cuban Missile Crisis. Due to the events at the Cinedrome, I think is what it says. A zombie outbreak occurs. Samantha sends Yuri to the Pentagon to thwart their survival. After Gersh is freed and Ultimus departs from the Cosmodrome, the outbreak ends at the Pentagon. All four survive. November 19th, 1963. In an effort to avoid another undead outbreak, the U.S. government creates the Broken Arrow program, establishing several facilities across the country. The Groom Lake program is folded into Broken Arrow. Cool. I think we're about to get into transit. August 11th, 1963. Broken Arrow recovers a shard of element 115 from Division 9. Shit, did we just jump straight to... Yeah, we're making a huge jump now. Okay. September 29th, 1979, Rustman begins work at Broken Arrow. Over the course of his employment, his extensive exposure to element 115 leads to sufficient memory loss. April 20th, 1983. Broken Arrow begins live animal experiments with the shard, creating bios. June 24th, 1986. A containment breach involving the bios occurs at one of the Broken Arrow facilities. Rustman is one of the few to escape alive. The facility is shut down and abandoned. Its projects are transferred to other locations. June 24th, 1996. Victus arrives at the abandoned Broken Arrow facility, still being pursued by undead Richtofen. They recover the element 115 shard and depart through another rift. March 17th, 2011. Call of the Dead. After entering the rift, Ultimus arrives at the Siberian facility in 2011, where they find themselves trapped in a closet while George A. Romero films his latest project at the location. Samantha, in her pursuit of Ultimus, unleashes an undead outbreak. The film's stars fight the undead horde, ultimately recovering the Vril device for Richtofen. Ultimus teleports to Shangri-La in an effort to acquire the next artifact required to defeat Samantha. The Focusing Stone. April 11th, 2011. Following the disappearance of the Call of Dead casting crew, Romero's assistant Sally begins the search for her boss. Her journey leads her to Shangri-La during an eclipse, which sends her back in time to April 25th, 1956. Okay, so here is some of the loop already. April 10th, 2023. Broken Arrow creates the... Is that Denzans? I think that's what this is. July 8th, 2025. Broken Arrow accidentally creates Avogadro. So it was an accident. Okay, so this whole time I've been thinking they created it on purpose. So apparently it was actually an accident. I hate this chair. September 1st, 2025. In desperate need of more element 115, Broken Arrow uses an excavator to drill the... Oh shit. to drill near the nuclear testing facility known as Nuketown. Oh my god, this one's a big one. October 13th, 2025, Moon. Using the drill device and the focusing stone, Richtofen completes his grand scheme and swaps bodies with Samantha on the moon, giving him full control of the zombies and the ether. Maxis contacts the remaining members of Ultimus through the station's electronics and asks for their help to defeat Richtofen. They agree. They launch missiles at Earth, leaving it fractured and broken. They sever Richtofen's connection with the ether, but he maintains control over the zombies. Once Maxis controls the ether in 2035, he returns to the moon and plucks Samantha from Richtofen's body to join him in Agartha. October 13th, 2025, Nuketown Zombies. As a nuclear bomb explodes outside of Nuketown as a result of Broken Arrow's drilling, CIA and CDC operative arrive to find an undead outbreak already in progress. One of the missiles from the moon hits Nuketown, killing all on site except for Marlton Johnson, who survives by hiding in a nuclear bunker. So he was at Nuketown. I knew it. October 13th, 2025. The Earth fracturing triggers further temporal rifts, teleporting an 1800s American Western town underneath a mining facility in Angola. Arthur is pulled through the rift from 1318, arriving in now buried town. Oh, is that the giant guy? Is his name actually Arthur? Let's keep going. November 5th, 2025. Broken Arrow is disbanded after the primary facility is lost in a fire. It is later believed to be an... I can't read that because some of the shit in it. An act of arson. There we go. Committed by employees destroying evidence implicating them in the outbreak. Russman, his mind broken after over 40 years of exposure to element 115, begins to wander Earth. It's pretty cool. We're also getting into the transit crew. March 18th, 2027. In a distress call, former CDA Assistant Director George Barkley reveals that the infectious contaminants have gone airborne. He advises caution regarding any allies showing signs of short-term memory loss, psychosis, delusion, and paranoia. So, like Rustman. Yeah, I think Leroy's real name is Arthur. March 27th, 2027, a society of survivors who eat the undead is formed. They are called the Flesh. May 12th, 2017, Samuel Day Stuhlinger joins the Flesh. June 28th, 2027, through the consumption of the undead meat, the Flesh begin hearing Richtofen's voice. He tries to persuade them to build global polarization devices for him in pursuit of his new plan to mend the rift in space-time and acquire full control over the ether. June 28th, 2027, Maxis begins communicating to survivors on Earth, telling those willing to listen to build global polarization devices for him in pursuit of his new plan to open Agartha and reunite him with Samantha, even though it will result in the destruction of Earth. April 4th, 2028, the Flesh broadcasts their message across all frequencies. They tell others to heed our call. And that the path to enlightenment can be achieved by consuming the undead. The Flesh broadcasts messages telling others to heed heed their call, and that the path to enlightenment is achieved by consuming the undead. What? I said it twice. Okay. December 9th, 2028, Maxis followers begin constructing a spire under the Hanford site facility. Where did I just read that? There it is. January 3rd, 2029, Maxis followers begin to doubt him, believing he may in fact be evil. They destroyed their electronics. Okay, then it's this one, right? Yes. March 2nd, 2029, Maxis followers attempt to speak to him again. Many have begun to hear Richtofen, and those loyal to Maxis eagerly await further instructions. August 15th, 2029, a broadcast is sent out confirming the fall of the Flesh and Maxis followers. With each group hearing the voice of Richtofen or Maxis, a battle broke out between them, and they fought a zombie horde. They fought a zombie horde, moved in and destroyed all who remained. Stuhlinger is one of the few to escape. Richtofen and Maxis are left with no one to communicate near Green Run, where the first polarization device must be constructed. October 13th, 2035, Stuhlinger bumps into Rustman, who has stolen a bus from abandoned Broken Arrow facility. I thought it was... No, yeah, it was. Let's see, where am I? I think I'm right here. But I could be wrong. Am I? I don't know. Okay. October 21st, 2035. Transit. Stuhlinger and Rustman run into Marlton and Abigail Misty Brierton at a diner near the Hanford site facility. Maxis asks them to complete the polarization device in his favor. Stuhlinger, having consumed zombie meat, is contacted by Richtofen, who orders Stuhlinger to construct the device for him instead. The crew just constructs the device for Maxis. The four would become known as Victus. October 22nd, 2035. Die-Rise. I almost said Derice. Still hoping to regain control, Richtofen teleports Victus to Providence 22, where he demands that Stuhlinger activates the second polarization device. Once again, the crew sides with Maxis. The voices cease for some time, leaving Victus to wander the earth. Okay, so I guess the actual story is they sided with Maxis? Is the real story? I guess? I'm trying to find out where I'm at on the picture. I can't. Well, I guess I can. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, I accidentally opened that. So this thing, I think that's... Oh no. Yep, that's where I'm at. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So, here we go. Let's see. December 31st, 2035, Buried. Victus arrives at an old western town now located beneath a mining facility in Angolia. They discover Arthur in a jail cell. He assists them in their journey. The voices of Maxis and Richtofen return. They activate the final polarization device in Maxis' favor. Now corrupted by the dark ether, he reveals his true intentions to Victus and punishes Richtofen by trapping his soul in a zombie. Drawn into Agartha by her father, Samantha witnesses the evil that has corrupted him. When a rift opens in Dimension 63 in 1918, she reaches out to that timeline's Maxis for help. January 10th, 2036, Richtofen instructs undead Richtofen to pursue Victus and recover their blood vials. January 19th, 2036, Primus Richtofen begins to manipulate Stuhlinger, opening a rift for Victus to begin their new journey. Pursued by undead Richtofen and an army of the undead, Victus enters the rift. January, I think that's 19th. Yeah, 19th, 2036, Maxis destroys Earth and all its surviving inhabitants. And now we know that Leroy is actually Arthur. Like, his real name is Arthur. I think that's... What a bitch. So I just lost my spot. Okay, I'm somewhere. Let me see. So wait. So that part of the story ends. So where does the next one begin? And why did it end on transit? Okay. So I just read the middle one. We've got 3 more sections that we have to do. We'll start with some of the smaller ones and just continue. Okay. This one is Agartha. It says the summoning key. The keepers craft the summoning key, a device that allows them to manipulate the ether. Holding power over reality itself, they use it to create Agartha. First, transference device. The keepers master the ability to travel between dimensions. Dark ether. Some keepers begin to experiment with the dark ether, which corrupts and corrodes their souls. Among them is the Shadow Man. See, this whole time we thought he was Leroy, but his real name is Arthur. The Ether Pyramid. The corrupted keepers create the Ether Pyramid, a device capable absolute power of absolute power. A schism forms between them and those keepers, untainted by the dark ether. The War of Agartha begins. War breaks out between the corrupted and uncorrupted keepers. The War of Agartha ends. Facing defeat, the corrupted keepers hide the Ether Pyramid on a... Shit. On a moon within one of the newly discovered dimensions. After banishing the corrupt keepers to the dark ether beneath creation, the remaining keepers take on the mantle of guardians. Trapped in the dark ether, the corrupted keepers contort and evolve over eons, ultimately becoming the Apothecants. they desire above all else to return to Agartha. The first arrival. With Dr. Monty's help, the Maxis drone arrives at the house in Agartha. Despite the absence of his soul, Monty recreates a physical manifestation of his Dimension 63 form. The arrival of Samantha. Monty brings Samantha to the house, reuniting her with the Dimension 63 incarnation of her father. Samantha's corruption. Knowing that Samantha is corrupted by the dark ether, Monty takes her away from Maxis and the house. The isolation of Maxis. Alone in the house and missing his daughter, Maxis wonders if Richtofen will have the courage to fulfill the vow he made all those years ago. Oh man, this is a lot of reading. Excuse me. The rediscovery of the empty earth. Having observed Monty for some time, Maxis uses the teleporter in the basement of the house to study and explore other dimensions. Among them is Empty Earth, where an alternate Maxis had constricted Zero Base, a facility that houses artifacts and replicas collected from a multitude of different timelines. However, his attempts to manipulate the empty earth create a reality too fragile to be sustained. The restoration of innocence. Monty returns Samantha to Maxis, her innocence restored. Monty's plan. Monty explains to Maxis that the paradox wrought by a multiverse must be resolved. A new reality can be created, one free of the apothecans, but only if they enlist the aid of souls who have lived through and survived the fracturing. The Canorium secured. Among the artifacts that Maxis collected in Zero Base is an ancient book known as the Canorium, a complete chronicle of the entire history and future of all reality, protected by various countermeasures. The facility can only be accessed by those possessing a soul. Richtofen's journey begins. Maxis tells Richtofen the plan to secure the Canorium and locate the summoning key. Hearing the echoes of his other selves, Richtofen discovers his connection with Samuel Stuhlinger and decides to use Victus to acquire the Canorium. The manipulation of Stuhlinger. Having overseen the construction of a laboratory beneath Alcatraz, Richtofen returns to the house where he begins to communicate with Stuhlinger. Together they persuade Victus to travel to a variety of locations in order to recover the Canorium. The Canorium retrieved. Upon arriving at Zero Base, Victus provides blood samples that allow them to access the empty earth and recover the Canorium. The blood acquired. Richtofen collects Victus blood samples from undead Richtofen. The arrival of Edward. Richtofen collects Eddie's innocent soul from Dimension 0, and Monty gives him a physical form in the house. Samantha meets Edward. Eddie and Samantha meet each other for the first time. Samantha writes in her diary that Edward doesn't like to share toys. The happiness of children. Monty brings Eddie and Samantha more toys. I think my nose is starting to try to bleed. The fragility of memory. Maxis notes that teleportation and travel between dimensions could have a profound impact on the mind. He fears that the confusion caused by the collision of memories, past, present, and future, could lead to the collapse of reality itself. And it's gone. And then the arrival of the souls. The souls arrive. Maxis tells Samantha and Eddie to put the toys away. And to make sure the windows are locked before they come down to the basement. Wait. Time out. You might be right. Oh, here we go. I thought that was the end. That's why I was saying time out. The children reborn. As each soul arrives, Monty transfers them into their younger selves and returns their innocence. The arrival of Primus. Sorry. Now soulless, Primus brings the summoning key to the house, where Maxis unwittingly releases the Shadow Man, who in turn frees the Apothicons from the Dark Ether. Unaware that they will be wiped from existence once they have served their purpose, Primus battles alongside Monty in his final battle against the Shadow Man. Is there more? Oh, it is. Revelations. When the Shadow Man and his Apothicons vanquished, Monty discovers that Primus has consumed the blood of souls from dimensions that no longer exist. The paradox must be resolved. You know, I'm just thinking, because I think that's the end of that little storyline. Yeah. Okay. But what I'm thinking is, along the edges, there's symbols. And, what I'm thinking is that it might be a cipher. They might have put a cipher on the story timeline, because it's all over the sides. Like, it's insane. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's what it looks like to me. Oh, man. Oh. I've still got another one. Okay, so far, what we've learned. Really, the only thing we've learned that we didn't already know is that Leroy's real name is Arthur. And that he was the Wolf King's assistant. So far, that's all I've learned anyway. Like, I mean, it's just basically a lot of it's like just repeating. Oh, and no, Nikolai. Thought it was Nikolai that had the brother. Oh well. Let's go on to the next one. Okay. October 13th, 1945, The Giant. As a zombie outbreak occurs, Primus, Dempsey, Takio, and Nikolai confront the Ultimus Richtofen moments after he teleports Maxis and Samantha. As they try to reason with him to wake their counterparts, Primus Richtofen arrives through the teleporter and kills his Ultimus self, triggering fractures across space-time. As Primus fights the undead, Group 935 secure the Dempsey subject and transport him to Der Eisendrache. Primus pursues them in a German Giant. If I could remember where that was. It was Nikolai's brother. It's December 9th, 1942. Nikolai's brother is killed in the Battle of Stalingrad. I told you it was Nikolai, not Takio. Okay. October 29th, 1945, Dr. Groff takes control of Group 935 in Richtofen's absence, not realizing his fate at the hands of Primus. October 31st, 1945, in the wake of haunted dreams and rumors that Samantha may be roaming Griffin Station, Groff worries the MPD may be corrupting the facility. November 5th, 1945, Der Eisendrache, recovering the Dempsey subject from a rocket bound for the moon, Richthofen secures his soul and reveals to Primus his intention to set things really phone. To set things right, Primus destroys Griffin Station and the moon. Okay. I guess it drops down. April 12th, 1942. Overrun by the undead Rising Sun facility, the Rising Sun facility is lost. July 8th, 1942, Division 9 begins construction of the island facility. Okay, give me a second, because I have wrapped my charger up. I'm actually No, that should be fine. Okay, sorry. I had twisted my phone so much with my chargers. Okay, October 9th, 1942. With construction complete, Division 9 continues their projects at the island facility. November 5th, 1942. Takeo is dispatched by the Emperor to oversee the work of Division 9 at the island facility. February 6th, 1943. Division 9 expands experimentation to include use of prisoners of war. Division 9 staff, arachnids, and mystical beasts. Okay. June 15th, 1943. Takeo reports to the Emperor work being done at the island facility is unacceptable. July 24th, 1943. On the orders of the Emperor, Takeo is taken prisoner by Division 9. He is used as a test subject for their organic plant-based experiments. September 13th, 1945. Cornelia attempts to send a transmission to Peter McCain, telling him to rendezvous at the abandoned Rising Sun facility. Okay. October 18th, 1945. Zetsubo no Shima. Premise secures Takeo's soul after they help him commit seppuku. Richtofen takes the crew to Dimension 63 to collect their blood for the insurance policy. They return to the island before traveling to the next destination. So I'm guessing this is the next one. Okay, yeah, it's right here. October 18th, 1945. Peter McCain makes his jump into Shinonuma as a temporal rift opens below him. As a result of premise, universe fractures. The rift teleports him to Gorod Krovi. Okay. November 11th, 1942. Groff confirms that Division 9 has completed the resurrection of the ancient beast for the battle on the Eastern Front. Reports suggest that the specimens are still extremely dangerous, but the Germans' stalemate on the Eastern Front with the Russians will soon come to an end, thanks to their involvement. January 3rd, 1943. The Russians used stolen Group 935 research to create the Russian Gigant, the Russian Mangler, and the Ray Gun Mark III. Is that Russian Gigant? I guess is what that says. That's what it looks like. February 2nd, 1943. The Battle of Stalingrad doesn't end. Thanks to technological advancements on both sides, World War II continues indefinitely. February 13th, 1943. Working with Maxis at the Kino facility, Sophia reveals she was attacked by Subject 26. February 14th, 1943. Having learned Sophia was attacked by Subject 26, Maxis kills her and transfers her brain into a machine. The Strategic Operations Planning Heuristic Intelligence Analyzer, or Sophia. July 7th, 1943. Sophia is transferred to Stalingrad to oversee Group 935's operations. September 2nd, 1943. Harvey Yena reports the dragons have proven beneficial. Okay, my phone's dying. Awesome. Okay, so give me just a second. Crap. Wait. There we go. Okay. Y'all won't see anything for a second. Okay. This is why y'all can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I was somewhere over here. No. No. Okay. September 2nd, 1943. Harvey Yenna reports the dragons have proven beneficial. The war effort at Stalingrad. He confirms that Glarko research continues to explore time displacement and movement across dimensions. It is so much harder to read this. November 6, 1943, Sophia confirms the existence of Project Rasputin, the Russian Mangler soldier. (1944), I guess. January 11th, 1944, Sophia confirms the Russian giant, I guess that's a giant? I don't fucking know. Robot has set back the German advance. Oh my god. Okay. April 14th, 1945, Sophia declares the Battle of Stalingrad is nearing victory for German forces, and that Valkyrie drones have been deployed to locate any resistance strands and attempt capture. After the release of large concentrations of element 115 by German forces, the city becomes largely populated by the undead. Nikolai and his comrades continue to fight for what remains of Stalingrad. That was a lot that made my neck hurt. September 2nd, 1945. World War II still rages on. Stalingrad has turned into a three-way conflict between Dragon Machine and the undead. Without any remaining human survivors, Sophia is now trapped in the city. Man. November 16th, 1945. Drifting through space and time in his ethereal form, Gersh arrives in the fracture. November 6, 1945, Gorod Krovi. Primus arrives, frees Sophia, and acquires Nikolai's soul. Richtofen teleports the souls of Dempsey, Takeo, and Nikolai's to Maxis at the house. Monty announces his existence to Primus for the first time. April 25th, 1956. While traveling to Shangri-La, Brock and Gary's plane crashes in the mountains as a result of freak atmospheric event. Another side effect of the temporal rifts created by Primus while traveling to Gorod Krovi. November 6, 1963. Hiding in a closet at the Pentagon, McNorman records a message confirming that John F. Kennedy, Richard Nixon, and Fidel Castro have died as a result of a zombie outbreak. He dies moments later. That's it. Damn. Okay, so because of what happened in Black Ops 3, it caused a side effect to happen to the other parts of the story. So the characters from 5 actually survived, but after Richtofen and Dempsey and Nikolai and Takeo went through, they ended up dying. the rift caused them to die. And then, what were the names? Brock and Gary, who were in Shangri-La at the beginning, end up not making it to Shangri-La. If that's what I'm understanding. Hell if I know. Okay, we got one more. We did the beginning, we've done fracture, and we've done Agartha. Now we have dimensions. Dimension 63. So this, if I'm correct, is going to be all about Mob of the Dead and shadows. If I'm correct. I mean, I could, there's a possibility I could be wrong. But from how it looks, this is going to be Mob of the Dead, because I know Mob of the Dead is in here. So let's get into it. Okay. Dimension 63, January 15th, 1292, the Great War between humanity and the Apothicans began. That's too much trouble to actually move my TV. April 14th, 1294. So, I've got to read this part again. Sir Pablo Marinez is saved from the clutches of a Margua by 4 unknown heroes. They would later become known as Primus. December 31st, 1299, together with the Keepers, Primus defeats the Apothicans, bringing the Great War to an end. January 1st, 1300, before they seemingly disappeared from history, Primus instructs the Wolf King to begin building Der Eisendrache. February 18th, 1300, Pablo begins documenting the Great War, including all he has learned about the Keepers, Apothicans, and Element 115. Regarding Element 115 power, he notes that a site in North France contains massive deposits of element. June 4th, 1300, in northern France, a tomb is constructed to honor the fallen soldiers of the Giant War. Within it, statues of Primus are constructed to symbolize the hope that if one day a great evil falls upon the mankind, they may return. July 17th, 1898, Edward Richtofen's parents die. Oh, crap. February 20th, 1905, Takeo Masaki fights in the Battle of Mukden. I don't know how to say that. Mukden. August 11th, 1906, Richthofen begins his studies at Heidelberg University under the tutelage of Dr. Ludwig Maxis. Having lost his parents, Richthofen comes to view him as a father figure. July 3rd, 1912, Richthofen and Maxis join Group 935. June 4th, 1914, Richthofen is visited by another version of himself, handing him some blood. Vials, he explains, you will need this blood. When the time comes, it will protect you before stepping back through the rift. Okay. So let me just, this whole time, how we thought it happened is that after Origins, before the Giant, we see, from what I understood, is we thought Richthofen had went to Mob and got the blood. But how this is saying is that, what did it say, Primus, another version of himself. It doesn't say if it was Primus or not. But it shows that another version actually got the blood and gave it to him already. So he already had it before we got to that. Okay. January 5th, 1915, or 1815. So, no, 1915. That's it. Maxis invents the Mauser prototype. August 28th, 1960, the Journal of Sir Pablo Marines, Night of the Great War, is discovered by Group 935. March 23rd, 1970, using information gathered from Pablo's journal, Group 935 begins work at a dig site in northern France, where they discovered a series of underground tombs. So, yeah. This is actually pretty interesting. Let's see here. April 21st, 1917, Group 935 discovers what appears to be the entrance to the tomb's main chamber. They struggle to gain access. May 11th, 1970, unable to access the main chamber, soldiers listen to a gramophone to elevate their frustration. When listening to a recording of La Source Nier, I think that's what that says, the entrance to the main chamber unexpectedly opens. The camp's exposure to element 115 begins. Oh my god. Okay. May 21st, 1917. Using information from Pablo's journal and the tomb's main chamber, Maxis draws schematics for the creation of 4 elemental staves and instructs Richthofen to begin their construction. May 29th, 1917. The more Maxis reads of the Great War, the more he begins to question his understanding of the scientific world and the true nature of the universe itself. He finds himself open to the possibility of a higher power. June 11th, 1917. As Group 935 experiments with element 115, they successfully create localized energy fields which appear to function as portals. Noting that objects can pass through them, Maxis speculates that the rifts may have opened gateways across space and time. The rifts allow Samantha to reach out to Maxis from Agartha. She begs for his help and ultimately reveals she is his daughter. June 15th, 1970. An ancient box with the power to manifest weapons from different eras arrives through a portal. Maxis fears that element 115 is disrupting the space-time continuum. July 1st, 1917. Following the installation of element 115 powering generators, reports surface regarding ancient figures. What? Oh. Ancient figures. I can't read that. Energy? No. Emerging. Okay, so that's an M. Okay. Emerging from the dig site. Corresponding with the mysterious deaths of a member of Group 935 soldiers. The ancient figures are undead knights from the Great War. August 31st, 1917. Nikolai Belinsky is sent into exile. September 10th, 1917. Using element 115, Group 935 constructs Freya, Odin, and Thor, giant robots who they believe will secure victory for the Central Powers. September 22nd, 1917. Richthofen notes that in spite of Group 935's progress at the dig site, he is troubled by Maxis's growing obsession with Pablo's diary. October 6, 1917, Takeo Masaki is dispatched to France by the Emperor to gather intel on Group 935's weapon technology. November 19, 1917. Following reports of prototype armored weaponry, strange lights in the sky, a mysterious plague, and even giant metal men, Tank Dempsey is deployed in northern France to assess the extent of Group 935's capability. December 10th, 1917, already exiled in Europe, Nikolai receives new orders from the Imperial Russian Army to investigate the enemy, War Machine. Still loyal to the motherland, he willingly obliges. February 23rd, 1918. February 23rd, 1918, Nikolai writes of the ongoing civil war in his homeland. He does not expect peace to last long, but he is enjoying his time in France. March 2nd, 1918, learning that the Emperor wishes to meet him to discuss a matter of great importance to our nation, Takeo writes that he feels a growing sense of dread in the wake of his recent dark, twisted dreams. April 14th, 1918, despite ongoing battles, Dempsey fares well in northern France. In a personal letter, he reveals that both the Japanese and Russian armies have also sent spies to investigate the activities of Group 935. May 1st, 1918, Max is obsessed with the voice of Samantha, who now speaks to him constantly. He believes her to be the key to everything. May 12th, 1918, believing that his mentor has been affected by Element 115 like others at the dig site, Richthofen reports Max's erratic behavior to Group 935 senior staff. May 15th, 1918, Richthofen learns from Pablo's journal that the northern France dig site may be the single largest deposit of element 115 on Earth. He believes this explains why it has affected so many at the site. May 14th, 1918. Now completely consumed by Samantha's voice, Maxis swears he will no longer serve Group 935's mission. Oh god, here's a long one. This will be fun. Okay. June 4th, 1918, Origins. Element 115 awakens the undead knights from the Great War and quickly consumes the camp. Maxis is rendered catatonic by the element. Richthofen removes his brain before he turns. Dempsey, Nikolai, and Takeo unite with Richthofen on the battlefield and help free Samantha from her imprisonment in Agartha. Primus has been reunited. Samantha sends Primus to their next destination. Max's brain arrives in Agartha, and Dr. Monty decides to step in. Monty brings Max's brain to the house and wipes the Maxes corrupted by dark ether from existence. Holy crap. Okay. July 18th, 1922, Salvador Sal de Lucar opens gambling houses across Chicago. This marks the beginning of the DeLuca crime family. Where was it? February 17th, 1923, Billy Handsome joins the DeLuca crime family as a hitman. Sal will come to look at Billy as the son he never had. September 18th, 1923, so say just an expert in gambling and rigging sporting events, Michael Finn Leary begins working. O'Leary, sorry, I didn't see the O. Begins working for Sal. I should have known that though. March 23rd, 1924, Finn marries Angelina Bow, an aspiring starlet with delusions of grandeur. But wait, is that the chick from Shadows? March 1st, 1929, Sal writes of his frustration with Chicago's finest. After many years of successful brides with the city, it becomes clear that it is no longer an option. May 11th, 1930, Sal begins to work with Albert. What was his name? Arlington. An associate in Los Angeles known for being a master schemer and bank robber. Finn informs his lawyer he will not accept divorce from Angela, saying she can leave this marriage the day she leaves this earth. October 11th, 1931, after an LA heist for Sal goes wrong, Al wakes up in the hospital. 1928, 1931, while in the hospital, Al submits Icarus from Mars for publication as a comic strip. It is his third attempt. It is denied again. November 11th, 1931, angry and frustrated with his collapsing empire, Sal kills a prostitute. No longer willing to turn a blind eye, Chicago PD arrests him. December 1st, 1931, in an operation against the DeLuca crime family, Billy is arrested for multiple homicides. December 19th, 1931, in an operation against the DeLuca crime family, Finn is arrested by Chicago PD when his wife offers evidence against him. What a bitch. January 19th, 1932, so let's say Al. Let's just say that's the Weasel. Is arrested for his role in the LA heist. Or is it still Al? I don't fucking know. No, that is his name. It's Al. Okay. May 14th, 1932, Sal is found guilty of murder. He is sentenced to life in prison in Azkaban. May 16th, 1932, Billy is found guilty of 116 counts of murder. He is sentenced to life in prison at Alcatraz. Well, I think so. May 30th, 1932, Found is found guilty of 16 counts of gambling fraud. He will serve his sentence at Alcatraz. June 13th, Sal and Billy arrive. June 13th, 1932, Sal and Bill arrive at Alcatraz Island. June 30th, 1932, Finn arrives at Alcatraz Island. July 1st, 1932, Al is found guilty of grand larceny, grand theft auto, arson, conspiracy, and what? Battery? Bartering? He will serve his sentence at Alcatraz. August 3rd, 1932, Al arrives at Alcatraz Island. January 1st, 1933, Stanley Ferguson begins working at Alcatraz Island. April 1st, 1933, Al convinces Sal, Finn, and Billy that they can build a plane and escape Alcatraz. I thought they said airborne for a second. I was like, what? December 2nd, 1933, realizing the plane will never be completed and embittered with rage, Sal, Finn, and Billy plot to get revenge on Al. December 31st, 1933, Finn, Sal, and Billy lure Al to the roof and kill him. Damn. January 11th, 1934, stepping through a rift, Richtofen secures the blood samples of Sal and Finn. January 19th, 1934, found guilty of Al's murder, Sal, Finn, and Billy are executed by electric chair. Mob of the Dead. Sal, Finn, Billy, and Al battle waves of the undead as they find themselves trapped in a seemingly endless cycle. April 16th, 1940. Richtofen arrives in Dimension 63 where he contacts members of the Illuminati and enlists their help to build a laboratory facility beneath Alcatraz. April 18th, 1940. Richtofen meets with Stanley Ferguson and convinces him to assist with the Illuminati's construction of the Alcatraz laboratory. July 3rd, 1941. Stanley Ferguson reports that the laboratory has been completed and that the subjects will be placed in stasis chambers upon arrival. July 4th, 1941. Richtofen returns to the lab under Alcatraz where he meets Victus, arriving from the empty Earth with the Chrononium. Upon reading the Chrononium, Richtofen discovers numerous timelines documenting their fates and learns about the blood vials. He would later write on the page, "I know now what I must do." Force, I can't read that. 41741. Richtofen enters a rift to acquire the blood of Sal and Finn. After delivering the blood to his younger self and recovering the blood vials belonging to Victus, he returns. He returns. Victus is placed on ice to be kept safe until they are needed next. July 4th, 1941. Primus arrives to collect the Victus blood samples from Richtofen. Following Primus' departure, Richtofen learns the location of the summoning key and travels to his next destination. October 1st, 1943, Stanley Ferguson leaves employment at Alcatraz. October 21st, 1943, posing as Mr. Rapt, the Shadow Man hires the reporter to recover artifacts from the South Pacific and Russia. December 14th, 1943, the Departure recovers the artifacts from the South Pacific and Russia. Among them is the summoning key. December 25th, 1943. As per Rapt's request, the reporter speaks to Stanley Ferguson, a retired guard from Alcatraz. Stanley gives detailed account of the deaths of Al Arlington, Billy Handsome, Finn O'Leary, and Sal DeLuca. December 31st, 1943. At Mr. Rapp's request, the reporter arrives in Morgue City to take in its sights, sounds, and smells. January 15th, 1944. A meteor shower rains over Morgue City. January 30th, 1944. The reporter notes strange mold now growing all over the city. He also notes people are getting sick and acting delirious. February 13th, 1944. A fruit vendor tells the reporter about the ancient order of the keepers and how they're the only ones holding back the forces of the apocalypse. He talks of people hearing chanting from beneath the city. March 30th, 1944. The reporter sends Mr. Rapp a telegram providing details and contact information for Nero, Jessica Rose, Floyd Campbell, and Jack Vincent. April 5th, 1944. Aware of the Shadow Man's actions, Monty writes to the reporter warning him to not give the summoning key to anyone. April 10th, 1944, Jessica Rose learns a photographer is in possession of compromising pictures of her. Oh, man. April 20th, 1944, pretending to be a company executive, the Shadow Man tells Nero's lawyer that Nero's wife has taken out substantial loans in his name. Nero has 15 days to settle before the company seeks reparation, facing multiple debts due to his wife's spending habits. Nero decides to kill his wife and use her life insurance to pay the debt. April 20th, 1944. What is that? Masquerading as an internal affairs officer, the Shadow Man tries to convince Jack Vincent's partner to admit that Jack is on the take. Upon learning that International Affairs is snooping around, Jack plots to kill the snitch who could provide evidence against him. April 20th, 1944. The Shadow Man poses as a film director interested in hiring Jessica for a leading role. He tells her producer the part is hers. Afraid that the photographer could jeopardize her chances at stardom, she asks him to meet her so that she can sort stuff out. Okay, stuff out was way too close together. It made it look like a weird word. Okay. April 20th, 1944. Posing as a journalist, the Shadow Man suggests Floyd Campbell is a journeyman fighter to Floyd's promoter, wanting to guarantee his shot at the title. Floyd decides to wear brass knuckles under his gloves for his fight with Tony King. April 21st, 1944. Nero misses a call from his lawyer informing him the documents were forged and there's nothing to worry about. April 21st, 1944. Jack misses a call from his partner saying he has his back with Internal Affairs and has nothing to worry about. April 21st, 1944. Floyd misses a call from his promoter that the fight was a success and that he has a shot at the title. April 21st, 1944. Jessica misses a call from her producer. He says he didn't have a good feeling about the director and it didn't work out. However, he scored her a lead in a musical he and his partner are financing. April 21st, 1944. Jessica kills the photographer and secures the incriminating photographs. April 21st, 1944. Jack kills the snitch who could turn him over to Internal Affairs. April 21st, 1944. Floyd kills Tony King in the boxing match. And what? and cashes in on his winnings. April 21st, 1944. Nero kills his wife in a work accident, cashing in her life insurance policy to square away the debts. April 21st, 1944. Richtofen arrives in Morgue City to secure the summoning key. April 22nd, 1944. Richtofen learns the reporter has the summoning key and confronts him. The reporter waves Monty's letter at Richtofen and orders him to stay away before attacking him. Richtofen kills the reporter in self-defense. April 25th, 1944. Shadows of Evil. Nero, Jack, Floyd, and Jessica are knocked unconscious at the Black Lace Burlesque Club. They wake up in a twisted version of Morgue City, shifted slightly from reality, told they can atone for their sins by the Shadow Man. All four are tricked into performing rituals. Jessica sacrifices her producer, Jack sacrifices his partner, Floyd sacrifices his promoter, and Nero sacrifices his lawyer. Completing the required rituals, the Potemkins are given access to Dimension 63. Realizing they've been duped, the four work with the Keepers to defeat the Shadow Man. They trap him in the summoning key, but before they can hand it over to the Keepers, Primus Richtofen arrives and steals the key. Richtofen travels to Dimension 0 to secure an innocent Richtofen soul. He delivers the soul to the house from within the summoning key. The Shadow Man states, "I'll be seeing you." April 26, 1944. The Apothecans destroyed Dimension 63. And that's it. That is the entire Zombies storyline. From covering everything. From start to finish. Man, that took me 2 hours to cover all that. That was, I learned some stuff. But it's just, like, I love the artwork on the back, like, behind all the words and everything. I love, how it's in order. I mean, everything crisscrosses, though. And it's pretty cool. But I love the artwork. I love how they threw in, the monkey bomb and the plane and, the dogs and all that. I love it. But that was it. That was the entire story from start to finish. I was saying earlier that these look to me on the sides right here. I could be wrong and it could just be more detail, but I wonder if those are a cipher. I mean, there's probably people already on top of it. And I'm not going to attempt to decipher anything if it is a cipher because I can't. But if it does, I'll try to get that as quickly as possible and put it on my channel. But that was fun. I'm actually going to end this stream so that this stays one video. And then I'm going to, in a couple of minutes, in a couple of minutes, I'm going to go get something to drink and whatnot. I'm going to start another stream, and I'm going to attempt to do Zombies in Spacelands Easter eggs solo, because I've almost got it twice now. So I'm going to attempt that, and that'll be a longer stream. I found out that they had released this, so I wanted to, get it on my channel. It was fun. I appreciate y'all coming out. Be sure to, be watching because I will be back live here in about 5-10 minutes or so. Maybe 15. But I appreciate it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button. And as always, guys, I'll catch you in the next stream. Peace.